you and I have had this conversation quite a bit that way too often we pathologize and theologize development.
Yes.
I would love for you to, if we could dig in a little bit, why do you think in 2025 kids are so hard on themselves?
Yeah.
That seems to be almost epidemic level.
Mhm.
The expectation they put on themselves, is it warranted? Is it from outside sources? Speak to that if you would.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of factors. The main one that we hear about quite a bit is the effect of social media. So I'm not going to just pinpoint social media um, and say that it is the end all be all you know the thing that's bringing our kids down. What it's really about is that our kids' brains are still developing.
Mm,
Right? And that ability to regulate emotion and impulse control won't fully develop until a child is in their late 20s. And
mhm,
so the boundary that is needed to be able to say, hey, this is starting to make me feel sad or frustrated, or this thing is happening in the world and I have no control over it. Let me focus on what I do have control over, right? That's a
mhm,
skill that needs to be developed. You and I jumped on early. I shared some things and you asked me, how do you cope as a mental health therapist? Well, I use
mhm,
the tools that I had to learn,
mhm,
and practice over time. So I think kids are dealing with a lot. The world
mhm,
has changed drastically. We are seeing things that our kids are experiencing things, and we are experiencing alongside them things that we didn't have when they were
mhm,
kids. And I'm just going to name the things that kids mention to me as I travel across the country. They are petrified about school violence, including mass shootings. They do care about the environment. They are um, attuned to the political discourse, all the things that we don't want to talk about, right? Because it's uncomfortable, or we don't know what to say, or we don't want to get pulled into tough conversations. Our teenagers are having those conversations. They are impacted about the from the economy. They're impacted
mhm,
by the state of the economy. So what comes from that is a sense of helplessness and this
mhm,
and what I call an existential sense of dread, right?
mhm,
Like, and I've
mhm,
heard a teenager say that, does this world even have a future in it? So kids are
mhm,
feeling less hopeful, not across the board. But when you're talking to kids who are struggling with anxiety and despair, this is what they bring up. It feels
mhm,
like life is just a little bit less stable for them than for
mhm.
previous generations.
Mm. As you're talking, I keep thinking about the success sequence we have passed down to generations. And it feels as if, especially as a child becomes a teenager and a young adult, they realize that the success sequence does not equal success anymore.
Yes.
Which I think, to your point, and the book is just phenomenal in how you break this down into you break it down, you do not water it down, you break it down so it's digestible. There's a difference though, and we've had this conversation quite a bit, between emotion and
Mhm.
boundaries. And
Yeah.
we're living in a day where it feels as if boundaries has become almost a bad word to a
Mhm.
lot of parents, maybe as a reaction to how we were parented.
Yeah.
Could you speak to why boundaries are important?
Oh gosh, yeah. Every single parenting seminar, workshop that I go to or facilitate, this question comes up, and I feel for parents because I totally understand where they're coming from. So yes, we're living in an age where you open up social media, you open up your computer, you're reading things about, gentle parenting or attachment parenting, which is not the same as attachment theory, by the way.
Mhm,
Um, and so parents, especially young parents, and those are the parents that are actually calling my clinical practice, young parents with very young children under the age of 8 and 9, they just want to get it right. They want to
Mhm.
understand what are the tools, what are the strategies for me to raise a happy, stable, healthy child. And so this topic of boundaries comes up frequently. And here's what I want to say, Stuart, I just want to name it. Sometimes enforcing a boundary with your child can seem counterintuitive to connection,
Mm.
right? Or
Mhm.
counterintuitive to being emotionally supportive.
Mhm.
Some of the parents that I've counseled or consulted with, they worry that they're being too harsh if they implement a boundary and that their child won't feel loved. Now, granted, I have had a child in my own home when I've enforced a boundary say, "You just don't love me, do you?"
Mhm. Yes. I have had 3. I I still have 3 as young adults who say that.
Not, then they know we can't do anything to them.
That's true.
Because we have no
That's true.
leverage.
Yeah, why are you complaining? I can't do anything.
We can't take the keys away. We can't
Nothing,
send them to
nothing,
their room.
nothing at
Um,
all.
so kids are gonna be kids, right? They're
Mhm,
gonna they're gonna think what they think, and remember their brains are not fully formed, so we don't wanna take that personal. But this
mhm,
is what I wanna say. We wanna remember that boundaries and love go hand in hand.
mm,
Boundaries and love go hand in hand. You can actually enforce a boundary while still be loving, while still being
mhm,
comforting, and this is kind of what it looks like.
mm,
I love you, but I will not let you hit your brother.
mhm,
I love you, but you will not speak to me that way. I
mm,
love you, but you're not going to pull. I care about you. I understand that you're tired. I understand that you're, ready to go. I'm not going to let you pull the dog's tail. It's just like that. I understand that you're feeling frustrated. So it's meeting the child where they are, understanding what Dan Siegel, who is a neuroscientist and has written countless parenting books on the internal dialogue of a child. We don't want to negate that. And that's what previous generation parenting models and approaches didn't understand, or we didn't even
mhm,
have the language for it. It was just do as I say. But kids have an internal world, they have an internal experience. We would probably feel frustrated if we're having the time of our lives somewhere and some bigger older person says it's time to go, right? Like we're
mhm,
going to feel
mm,
sad, we're going to feel bummed. So acknowledging that your child is having a hard time, but letting them know two things. I'm upholding this boundary, and by the way, there are other ways to express what you are feeling. But the key, and we really break this down in seeing, is that there's an order to this, right? Connection comes before correction. You can be direct, you can look at your child in the eye while still expressing love and meaning what you say and saying what you mean. But that
mhm,
connection, the child needs to know
mhm,
that they're loved. The child
mhm,
needs to feel that they're valued, right? And if we're always correcting, then without the connection they may not fully believe that. So we want to just remember that expressing the love, spending time with the child or the teenager, rooting them on, letting them know that they're a valuable contributor to the family, to the community, is crucial for fostering trust and positive behavior and supporting emotional regulation. But you can also still say, no, that's not okay.
mm,
I'm not
mm.
going to let you do something that doesn't align with our family's values or what we've talked about or what's going to be good, safe, and healthy for you.